What's up, Purist? It's Bob from Purist Motorsports. So the other day I did a take after doing the decals of the SA10 history. It actually came out pretty good after reviewing it, so I'm going to give you that now, and I'll preface it with this, that I had a personal conversation with John McCauley, a phone call many years ago before he passed away, discussing these very cars. He was the mastermind behind them. And so, well, without further ado, let's get to the history of these cars. I think you'll enjoy this. Little SA10 history. So let's talk about them. In it's July of '93, Saleen worked with the Saleen Owners Enthusiast Club to create these cars. It was the idea of John McCauley, who was the president of the Saleen Owners and Enthusiast Club at the time. He wanted a car that you could pick whatever you wanted from the catalog and Saleen install it. Due to, I'm sure, EPA regulations and laws and that kind of stuff, there was no way Saleen could offer what would be not emissions legal modifications to cars. So I know John had had conversations with Steve multiple occasions prior to 1993, and Steve said no, which was a smart business move. You just can't do that in a production run. So the selling point for John to Steve was, hey, you got 10 years coming up and you have an anniversary. Why don't we do 10 cars for an anniversary model? And somehow John got the commitment from Steve. So it was John's idea. However, the design and the look of the car was Steve Saleen's and Phil Frank. Phil Frank actually did the rendering that you see online. It's a drawing of the car, and that was how it came to be. Now, they were going to build 10 cars and only ended up building 9 cars. That is because the buyer for number 4 had to back out due to personal reasons. He had an accident in the car he was going to have to sell to get the SA10. And I believe he had some family issues come up, some health issues, so had to back away, and Saleen never found a buyer, and that was for car number 4. That is the car I'm sitting in right now. All 10 cars are VIN sequential. This car was not completed at all. It was just a regular 5-liter LX, and that's another story, so I'll delve into that. But this car is equipped as if Saleen built it back in 1993 and 94. With that, each car is different. Saleen has not done a model prior to or since like the SA10. And you're gonna go, well, but wait, Bob, you know, my car went to JBA and it got a roll bar in it, or my car, Saleen put a supercharger on it for me after I bought it, or I paid for this modification to be done. So correct, there are one-off cars that were done, but this is the only model run where Saleen offered the buyers a chance to pick any option from the catalog. Now that doesn't mean that Saleen didn't steer them to particular options in the catalog just based on cost or limitations. However, there's not been a car model run from Saleen where you could just open the catalog and get a balanced and blueprinted motor with a supercharger and you know, a Tremec transmission, subframe connectors that are the tri-ladders, the Auburn differential. It's a car that was not a standard. How do I say that? There was a standard in that the outside had to look the same. So the cars are based on the 1993 Saleen SC. They have a Saleen SC hood, they have Saleen SC brakes, SC suspension. That's what the SA10 is based off of. They just happen to build more SA10s than SCs in 93. So there were 9 cars built. There are still 8 cars around. One of them has been stolen, but they're all different. None of them are the same. They have different options. They look the same on the outside, but if you know what you're looking for, I'm sure, and I know there are aficionados out there like me, you can tell the difference once you see them. But these cars are very unique. I've tried to make this one just almost identical. Well, identical in that it is the same as far as catalog options. The gauges used in all but one car, if the boost and fuel pressure gauges were chosen, they were VDO gauges. And they were blackface. Car number 11 currently has the Saleen whiteface gauges, boost and fuel pressure gauges in it. So in essence, it was an idea that came about from the president of the Saleen Owners and Enthusiasts Club at the time, John McCauley. And that car number 1 is actually what would be considered the prototype for these cars. The decals are prototype. It is the only one to come with what people call a Saleen Holy Grail intake. It's the raised letter Dave Dixon intake, not the Saleen Vortec version. So this car is equipped with a version that was prior to Vortec nameplates on them, but it is the same design with what I put on it. It looks like that. Later they came Saleen Vortec. So as far as a base model car with these, hold on, let's get this up. If you want to call it a base model car, they were all supercharged. They all came with 3-piece sterns that had the flat lip, machined flat lip, and it's actually clear coated. This is not polished. This is a clear coat. And this one's dirty because I've been driving it. They all came with the Alcon brakes, which is actually a modified Fox spindle, Alcon caliper, Willwood hub with a 2-piece Alcon rotor and hat. They all got leather covered seats, but car number 3 has flow fits in it, and they have a white, yellow, and black theme. The car number 11 came with a race Recaro seat, but the rest of the cars came with this style of Recaro seat, the LXLS style. I had these replicated. Let's see, what else? They all had the leather dash pad. Yeah, Steve signed my car. Notice almost. We might need to have him add an L. And they all have, of course, the plaque. That's just like any other Saleen. This one actually is the one that Saleen made for this car, thanks to Mark Lamaskin at Performance Autosport. There was a purchase he made, and there were a bunch of the placards in there. I guess they call them dash plaques or console plaques. And this one was in it. And he gave it to me knowing that this was the right car. The VIN number, as I said before, they're all sequential. There's 10 cars in order, and they're numbered 1 through 11. They don't use the number 6. So the cars would, had this one been built, been numbered 1 through 5, and then 7 through 11. But this one is built to be identical. It took 10 years to complete. Whether you're driving them or whether you're restoring them, always enjoy them. Peace.